Hi, Hilda. Welcome. Oh, she's gone.
No, Utlongkhama, I need to.
We started already.
Oh, okay.
Hilda, can you hear us? You can unmute yourself. Mic check.
Loud and clear. Thank you, Neo.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, we have to start. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to NMP Talk Show. My name is Neo Morapedi, your host. We are so glad that you have joined us today for what promises to be the most powerful and practical conversation we're going to have this year. And tonight we're talking more about something that affects every single one of us: how to turn your paycheck into progress. Because any money is one thing, but building a life of stability, freedom, and purpose with it, that's a whole different ball game. So if you ever felt like your money disappears quickly, like mine, or you're working very hard, but you're not moving forward financially, then this conversation is definitely for you. And to guide us through this important topic, we have a very special guest that's joining us this evening. She's one of the most helpful people that I've ever come across. And many people take control. He helps people take control of their finances, shift their mindset, and also start building meaningful progress, not just income. Please help me welcome Eunice Sibia, a trusted and highly respected financial educator and a coach. Truly one of the best people you can ever call if you need clarity, direction, and real results with your money. Sis Eunice, it's an absolute pleasure that you have joined us tonight. Welcome to our show. In fact, welcome back to our show.
Thank you, No. Good evening and good evening to everybody.
Thank you so much. Let me just set matters here. All right. So, Sis Eunice, let's dive right into it. Without further ado, many people feel like they are stuck financially, and sometimes they wonder if maybe it's because um, it's where they're coming from, their background. Do you think our background affects our relationship with money?
Big time, as the kids would say. Big time. In most aspects of our lives, now we are our background, or our background has an effect on who we are, how we think, the values we have, the the attitude we have towards certain aspects of life, the habits, the certain disciplines, beliefs primarily, and stuff like that. So,
Yes.
where I grew up and how I was raised has a big impact on who I am today. Unless if along the way I am taught and I then am able to change my ways for the better, of course. Maybe do away with stuff that is no longer applicable or cut out stuff that is not helpful to me and clear that and make space for new strategies, new methodologies, new ideas that will make my life better going forward.
You're raising such an important aspect of this growing up thing, that you were taught on how to carry your finances and all of that. And I so wish that we have that curriculum back then in schools. I think we would have fared out better than we are today. I don't want to blame the education structure that most of us are coming from, but
Yeah.
I feel like if we had that, you know um, that grooming back then, we should be right by now. So
Very true. Very
Mm,
true. And if I may just reiterate on thought,
mm,
remember that some of us, or maybe the majority of us, come from households that were not comfortable talking about finances at home.
mhm, mm,
And then at school, it is also not taught.
yeah.
So you will pick up a little bit of some shiga shiganyana around money at home if you are fortunate. And very few of us would come from households where there were open conversations around finances. But I can bet you the majority of us, we didn't have that privilege. So as you grow older and you now start having dealings with money, you're working on a blank slate. You actually don't know what to do. You don't know what money is. That's why we go crazy when we see money, because at home, most households, it was a hush hush thing. Okay. So hence then it is therefore important to expose ourselves to financial education.
That is sad. I mean,
True.
if you grow up, you know, knowing how to conduct yourself around money, you know, how to spend money at a very young age, I mean, it's something which is makes you a better person when you've grown up. Now you have access to all of these monies. The salaries are coming in. Now you know how to use them. But now, when we're
True.
talking on that, still elaborating on that, what are the common habits that people would pick up while they're growing up?
The biggest habit is again that money is a hush hush topic. Money is taboo.
Mm,
Money is a white elephant. Money is personal, and some people are shameful about their money situation because maybe it's not, where they really would love it to be. So it's shameful to talk about money openly for most people. There are people who are quite comfortable discussing their finances, but the
mm,
majority of us, we're not comfortable. So again, it will connect from the fact that growing up, maybe you were not exposed to financial conversations. You never had your parents maybe sitting down and budgeting. And one would ask, coming from a poor background, what budget what? What would you
what
budget?
is budget?
There's what is budget for who? Budget from where?
Uh-huh.
And we will
Mm,
maybe expand on that later. But coming from such backgrounds, so when I, at a later stage, I am now exposed to finances, it's a new tool in my hand, it's a new toy in my hand. Listen, it makes me, like I become somebody else because now finally I have this thing that is so sacred. I have this thing that I never had at home. I have this thing that will allow me to do one, two, three. But if I
yeah.
don't have proper foundation of how to handle and manage this thing that is called money,
Mm,
I'm going to make mistakes.
a lot of mistakes, I know. And can these habits be unlearned? Can we unlearn them?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Platforms such as this,
Yeah.
platforms such as this will help us unlearn some of the habits that we know. I know my habits that are not
Yeah.
working. Listen, if we were to switch off the lights here, I will confess to many habits, and I think most of our guests will attest to
Not
that.
alone.
There are many habits. There are many habits that we should unlearn. Like I said earlier on, some of the habits, there's nothing necessarily wrong about them, but maybe they're no longer practical or they no longer yield the best result. There's something else that is better. As with everything in life, things move on, things get better, new strategies, new tools, new gadgets, new everything gets, what is the word I'm looking for, promoted,
Mm,
created along the way. So yes, we can and we should actually unlearn old habits that are no longer practical, that are no longer feasible, that are no longer giving us the best results, and we replace them with what is current and what is beneficial to us right now.
sure. So, what would you say separates people who build real wealth from those who simply earn a salary? Because we know now we need education on how to, carry our finances. But now we need to know the difference between the wealthy and those who earn salary.
if I may just state 3 principles of the wealthy people. One, they have a principle strongly that they believe believe in, that says money loses value when it sits still. Money loses value when it sits still. Then they say growth must outplay or outpace inflation.
Okay.
And thirdly, personal stability comes from variety, or financial stability perhaps comes from variety, meaning for me to be financially stable, I need to have a variety of tools or platforms or vehicles, financial vehicles that I'm using. Then I'll get financial stability. And they are strict with their budgeting, by the way, now. Wealthy people vouch by budgeting. As wealthy as they are, millionaires and billionaires, if they don't budget themselves, they have a financial person that budgets for them, because their budget goes along with their goals.
Okay.
So as a millionaire, as a billionaire, as a business person, as an established, maybe wealthy person, and you wanting to make sure that your finances grow, let me tell you, the one compass that will get you where you want to go is a budget. Sadly, though, most people take a budget very, very lightly. And we think, no, I'll survive, man, without it. I know my tricks. I'll play maraba here and there and do this and that. I know the shenanigans that I do all the time. I rob Peter to pay Paul, and I skip this debt and I pay that one, and then I double up next month, and then I call them. Oh, when they call me, I don't take the calls. No, wealthy people do not do that. Actually, they're very disciplined, very strict with their money. And as you can imagine, that's where the wealth comes from. But when we talk about budgeting and being disciplined, we are at no point saying people should not enjoy their lives, should not enjoy themselves. You should. You budget again for entertainment. So we're going to talk about budgeting later. So entertainment would be a line item in your budget. However, it will not be on top. It will not be there, number 1, number 2, number 3. There are far more better things that you can actually allocate your money towards, and then entertainment will be at the bottom, and it'll be a smaller percentage just to get you going or to keep you going.
So basically, you're saying you can't be standing there by the ATM on the 24th midnight waiting for the notification to come in, withdraw money, and then everyone will sort themselves out.
You know, we may say it as a joke. There are many people who live like that.
Exactly.
And the reason to that, I know, the reason to that is because they are over indebted. So I want the money on my side. I want it hot in my hand so that I can slice it and dice it the way I want to. Because if I leave it in the account and perhaps I have debit orders that are going to come off, they're all going to go off. And I might be left with nothing. And I don't want that.
Which is the case.
In most cases, when we do financial coaching, true. When we do financial coaching, because I do financial coaching as well, when we look at the bank statements, we look at the behavior, you can see that most of the people that behave like that are over indebted. So they want the cash so that they can control it. Or it's people that don't have a budget, don't have a direction. They just win the money in their pocket, and they do as they please. And what they manage to pay, they pay. What they couldn't pay this month, next month is still a time. Yeah.
But
people that are disciplined, people that are disciplined, they know what's going to come off. They make sure that there's enough money in the bank account, and they make sure that nothing bounces back.
So let's talk about those who know what's coming off and what's not. So the wealthy, is it a mindset thing, or is it a strategy that they behave?
It's a bit of both. It's both. Their mindset is different from us as the majority, because our mindset is of the fact that is along the lines that I want all my money towards, to myself, and I want to entertain. I want to do whatever I need to. I saw a dress, I want to buy a dress. I want to go out with my friends. I quickly can go out with my friends, and whatever is left, I'll see what I can pay, with that, or invest or save. Yeah. However, the wealthy, their mindset is different. Actually, they operate more on a strategy than it is a mindset. Right? So they've stabilized their mindset to that. We work on a strategy. We plan, we solidify the plan. We've tested it many a times and we're happy with it. And it now has become a strategy. And how does the strategy go? The strategy says more money equals to success. Meaning, the more I have, I will be able to acquire or achieve the stuff that I would like or that I need.
Okay.
And number two, the how they manage money is a strategy. Because if they don't have a strategy, they become like me and other people, then that's where the loopholes are going to come in, and that's where the money is going to leak or leak out. But with a strategy, the strategy is not only just the budget. The budget is actually a tool, a vehicle that is going to get them where they want to go financially. So you have plans and goals that you have set. You know what you're working towards. So by the time you write down your budget, it is in line with the things that you want to achieve. Not only the expenses, but also future plans and goals and desires. Because half of us, we do have a budget. Sorry, I'll get to you. Half of us, we do have a budget, but if you look at our budget, it's mostly to entertain and facilitate expenses. So we need to involve and work around future plans, short, medium, and long-term goals. We should budget for those as well. Sorry, I had to cut in.
No problem. You actually touched on that. I see we have a new audience on our show today, and we want to welcome them on Telegram. So if you have a question, because you're new, you have a click there for a raise hand. Click a raise hand, and then we'll allow you to ask a question live to our special guest over here. So yeah, just welcome to NMP Talk Show. And we're also streaming to Facebook, LinkedIn, and also YouTube if you wish to see us live, or on the Riverside platform as well. So now let's go back to what we were discussing, Sis Eunice. So what's the first shift that someone needs to make, so that they can get these things right? I know you spoke about strategy, having a strategy, a mindset that goes with a strategy. But for a common person like myself, or like any other person who has not come to that level of having a wealth mindset, how can they shift towards that?
I'll mention a few. One, it is my attitude, my relationship towards money, how I view money. I need to revisit that and correct it if I need to. Money is a tool. It is a tool that can help me get to where I want to be. It's a tool that will help me get what I want to achieve. However, it being a tool, it needs me to manage it. And for me to manage it better, I need to have a strategy myself to say how best to manage this tool so that I can acquire or achieve the things that I want. But the shift also needs to come from the mind. Like I said, it's my attitude towards money. Earlier on, I said, what does money make me do? When I have money, who am I? And when I don't have money, who do I become? So me having a clear understanding of what money is to me, what money means to me, and what money can do for me will then put me at a level of understanding that it is a tool. A car is a tool. Cutlery is tools or are tools. A laptop is a tool. So money should be seen as a tool, but let us now focus on directing this tool to work better for us, because we can benefit a lot from this tool if we have the know-how, we have the discipline, and we have a very sharp mind to say, this is where we are going. If we don't have that kind of thinking and those strategies, one, this tool will direct us. The tool can dictate to us. The tool can make us become different people. Because when I have the money and I don't have the wisdom and the discipline and the strategy to make it work for me better, it is going to control me. And that will be seen by the way I behave. When I have money, I become more reiki, I brag, I look down on people, or I flash and stuff like that. Because show off. Yeah. Because it is now directing me. However, if I'm on the other side and I'm the one directing, it cannot control me. Because in my direction, I tell it where to go. I tell so much to go there, I tell so much to go there, and everywhere where I make sure that there must be a contribution of some sort. I will have a little bit left for me, yes, but the majority of it must go out and work for me.
So your money must know its place.
Listen, the money must know who the boss is. The money must know who the boss is. Otherwise, it will control me.
Yeah, no, it will. It does, eh? Yeah. It does. But now, you have people that would say, or would have a mindset to say, I'll manage my money better when I earn more. But we know that doesn't work. And why is that? Why doesn't that work? In a way, I would understand this concept, because if you don't have a lot of money, what do you budget from it? But when you say, okay, let me work and have more money, if I get paid more money, then I'll be able to budget.
There's a trick. There's a trick and there's a danger there.
Yeah.
Again, if I don't budget now because I feel that my money is too little, that means I don't have a plan. I am not in control of the little bit of money that I have. It will still control me, little as it is. It will still pull me because I am not in control. And I am driven by the fact that I think it's too small. And I therefore think that the day I have more money, only then I'm in a position to budget, or only then it makes sense for me to budget, which is not the case. The case is, however little you have, please budget. Please remain in charge. It doesn't matter how much you have. Earlier on, I said millionaires and billionaires have people who budget for them because they sit in a caucus and they plan and they know where they are going. And the people that are in charge of the finances, they budget every single month. And after everything has been paid off, they have another meeting just to check if everything is intact. Did we miss something? How are the balances? Oh, maybe we can pay extra there because we have a little bit of a surplus. So it is not about how much you have or how little you have. Budget, we must.
Yeah, I hear you. And I know they hear you. I know they hear you. And it's all about discipline, I guess. When you have to look at it, intently. But how do you now stay disciplined, with the little that you have and having a budget, preparing yourself for the time when you have lots more money coming in, big salaries or multi streams of income coming in. How do you remain disciplined?
My plans, my desires, my goals that I'm working towards, those should keep me disciplined, because I know where I want to be in 6 months. I know where I want to be in 12 months, 24 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I know where I'm going. Now, those goals, those plans, like I said earlier, short, medium, and long term, are the ones that are driving me. I wake up every day, I work towards those goals. When I have money, I make sure that X amount, sufficient, if not more, go towards those goals so that they are achieved, so that they are fulfilled, so that they are acquired. Now, it should not be a case that now that I have more this month, or maybe I've gotten an increase, or I've got a better job, or maybe for some reason I had a windfall of money, now the budget falls out of the window. Now I feel I can do as I please. I forget about my goals and stuff. Then the wheels have fallen off. The wheels have fallen off. What I at least can do is, particularly when it comes to debt, repayments, and investments, I need to add more onto those. I always call it Qatazela, always Qatazela on top of these two, so that your investment grow faster when you Qatazela extra, your debts are settled quicker when you Qatazela extra. Then you can still have a little bit of change to spoil yourself. It's fine. But be focused to say each time you have a little bit of more money, rather add it on top of the things that you're working towards, the things that are growing, not the things that are becoming waste. Let me say something. No, I think it's safe to say this because I'm on the other side of your screen. You can. If we were face to face, maybe I would have to move away, with a fear that you might just, So the truth of the matter is this: every cent spent is a cent lost. Every cent spent is a cent lost. But in the same vein, we will still say it is okay to live. Budget for your entertainment, budget for holiday, budget for taking your family out or yourself out from time to time. The main focus here is prioritize what is important. Prioritize what is important. Then you budget for your entertainment if you wish to. Plan for a holiday at some point, and you say, in your budget, I now have a line item that says, in December, I want to go abroad. I can go to Thailand if I want to. I can go to Durban. I can go wherever I want to. But I will start planning and put money aside in line with the period that I've said, that I've set for myself. Yeah. So if we remember that every cent spent is a cent lost, particularly if it did not go towards paying off debt, or it didn't go towards an investment of some sort, something that will either create an asset for me or that will grow my money in the form of an investment, it's lost. But we're not saying all of it is lost, it's wasted. If we do it strategically, then we strike a balance.
If you plan for it, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
No, let me put you at ease. Even if we're in the same room, well, I would have given you a hug instead of a slap.
Okay.
That's a good point that you're telling there.
Thank you.
But now, Sis Eunice, let's talk about inflation. We have inflation all around, and one type of inflation that I would like to consider here is the lifestyle. How do I avoid a lifestyle inflation?
Inflation is a very dangerous game. It's not a game. It's a theory. It's a theory that we cannot run away from. Inflation is like the sun coming out and the sun setting. We cannot run away from it. However, if we inform ourselves, if we are informed, meaning we have enough knowledge to make informed decisions, we will know and understand what inflation is, and we will know the trends of inflation, that oftentimes it goes up. Yes, from time to time it will drop, which is good. But when it's high, that means everything will go up in price. Okay, so now how to avoid a lifestyle inflation is simply to say, each time I have more money, I up my lifestyle. Each time I have an increase, or I got a promotion, or I have cash from wherever, then I change my car, I change my wardrobe, I move my house. You know, I become almost extravagant. That is not financially wise, because then there is no growth in your finances. Instead, you're going to find yourself in a deeper or tighter spot than you were before. Because now you've gone for a brand new car, much more expensive than the one you had. You've gone on holiday, which was unplanned. You've gone on a brand new wardrobe spree, and your clothes were fine. They were beautiful. They were fitting. And again, I'm not saying it is wrong to acquire these things. However, if they come unplanned, just at a whim, and emotionally driven, just because I have this cloud or this period of excitement based on what has just happened to me now, and then the plan and the strategy has fallen out the window or flew out the window, then that's not wise. That's not being wise. That's not wisdom. Instead, we need to be ahead of the inflation. How do we do that? We save, we invest, and our investments are diversified. Buy into different pockets of investments, different platforms of investments, shares, dividends, stock for some, and with also your normal commercial and traditional investments, because all of those have different timelines. So do not take all your money and go lock it up maybe for 24 months investment, fixed investment. Then you're going to be in trouble if something happens in month 3 or month 7.
Yeah.
So diversify. Have a chunk of it locked away, because you know this is to serve this purpose. But then in between, have money that is tucked away, yes, but it can be reachable with not so much of effort.
That's a good point there. Thank you for elaborating that.
So yeah, we need to be in line with inflation, preferably ahead of it. Then we are safe.
Sure. Yeah, we taking it in. You know, it will simmer after the show, or when we think about it. You know, meditate on the point. Yeah, it will simmer. So earlier, when we advertised this episode, we asked our audience to fill on the form, and that form would just for them to tell us their experiences, they're struggling, what they're struggling about, especially in terms of their finances, and majority of them, and it's a common thing. We notice that it's a common thread. We all struggling with budgeting and being consistent. So, what would you say is the simplest starting point for someone who feels so overwhelmed because they cannot get there?
Firstly, it is to understand the concept of money, understanding that money is a tool, like I said earlier on. And it being a tool requires me to be in charge. And for me to be in charge, I need a manual to understand the tool so that I can operate the tool and make the tool work for me. Any equipment that we buy, most of them come with a manual. And for me to know how to best utilize it, I need to understand and go through the manual. Finances are like that. If we look at finances in that manner, we will be safe. So what is the manual, financial manual? Is to have conversations such as this one, is to have a financial coach, is to attend seminars and sessions and workshops where we can be exposed to clarity, to explanations, to understanding how and why we behave in certain ways. But there are books as well, and there's information out there that we can look at. If we start collecting that kind of information and exposing ourselves to such, then we gain wisdom. And from that wisdom, we will be able to make the right decisions. But if I can just mention a few principles, it's that, and these are principles, not, it doesn't matter again how old you are, how much you have, it doesn't matter, but these are financial principles. One of the key principles is spend less than you earn. Spend less than you earn. When they say live within your means, it is exactly that. That if every month you earn 5,000 Rand, your expenses, your living expenses and your plans, because you can still save and invest even though you earn 5,000 Rand. Because remember that investing, it doesn't mean that it's for people, wealthy people. You can start small, save 50 Rand every month, save 100 Rand every month. It will grow and it come to a point where it is an amount that you can start an investment account with and you continue saving. When it grows, you take and you top up that side and you continue saving. So everyone can actually invest. You start by saving, because the difference between saving and investing is that the common factor between the two is you're putting money away, which is what we are promoting. The difference is that savings is usually for short term and it's very liquid, it's easily accessible. Investments is when you put money away for a longer term, medium or long term, and it has a goal. You want to get married, you want to pay lobola, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want whatever it is. And you also need to invest for emergencies, put money aside for emergencies. So you can save and invest at the same time, regardless of how much you earn. So we mustn't take those principles and think that it's only for people that have money. No. Principle number 2 is that we need to start working towards buying assets instead of just spending our money. What kind of assets? People think of assets as big things like a house, a property. It's very expensive. Yes, it is expensive, but if you work nicely, you will eventually maybe qualify to buy an asset. Oh, by the way, I'm also into property. I'm a property practitioner or an estate agent. So I do that as well, and I help people, how to strategize to make sure that their goal is fulfilled. Some of them apply, they see a property, then I put you on what we call a pre-qualification process, because we want to see where you stand, how much you're going to qualify for. And some of them get declined because there are things that you didn't work on. Then I'll take you offline and I'll help you for 3 months, 6 months. We work together, clear this, clear that, clear that. In a short space of time, depending on how much we need to clean up, they come back and they qualify. So we may be reckless because we don't have enough knowledge and discipline. But now that we are aware of what we need to cut out and start building on, we are able then to achieve things. So it's not a case of we are stupid or there's anything wrong with us. It's just that maybe we were not very strict in terms of the path. Exactly. And maybe we lacked the discipline. Now that we want to buy a house, hey, these things that you used to do before, they come back and say, hello, this is us. You've opened 27 accounts. Some of them you don't pay on time, stuff like that. So you get default listings, you get judgments, you get all sorts of things, late payment and all of those things. So if we help you and we hold your hand, you then can have a property, which is an asset. It grows in value. You see what I mean? So we can acquire, we can invest, we can buy assets, we can buy farms, you can buy shares, you can buy these things. We just need to know how to best utilize this tool called money. And annual reviews are also important. Where am I? Where do I stand? How much have I achieved? It's very fulfilling. If you've made mistakes and you're not where you wanted to be, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up too much. It's okay. Then you identify, oh, okay, I was a bit wasteful here. Okay, I'll cut down here and use that money to top up here. Come 3 months, 6 months, I will see a difference. And that's how you grow. Because even wealthy people, yes, we might say other races grew up in money. Yes, we'll leave the politics out of it. But what can I and you and our fellow family here connected here, what can we do to change the situation? Because we can. And it is possible. We just need to dust ourselves off and say, I know I can do this. I know I can do this. It is doable.
Yeah.
And we start off from there.
I wish I grew up into a generational wealth. But like you say, we can start somewhere
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. Now, speaking about, having enough, although enough is not enough, you can never have enough of anything. But is having just one job enough, especially these times, of our lives? Or do we need
Definitely
maybe
not.
multiple income streams?
We shall need multiple. Sorry, we shall
Mm,
need multiple income streams.
mm,
That serves as a backup. And I think the majority of us learned very harsh and valuable lessons during COVID-19,
yeah.
because that's where, for most people, the wheels fell off. We were never ready. We were never ready for COVID-19 and whatever
Not at all.
it brought along.
Yeah.
The sad thing is, most people haven't recovered from the aftermath of the COVID-19. Jobs were lost, lives were lost, people fell into debt, people had to take more debt to survive and pay off things, and now it's a spiral, they cannot come out. So it actually requires for us to be more stringent, for us to be more, more woke, more informed, and actually cut down a little bit on entertainment and other things and try and fix ourselves. If you look at statistics, the last time I checked, a factual point is that South Africa as a country is over indebted. South Africa as a country is over indebted. The citizens themselves, as individuals and households, are also over indebted in their own spaces, personal spaces. We are more brave to take out debt than we are for investments. We are shy to invest. We are brave to take debt, to take out debt. Maybe it's not by choice, it's by circumstance, which I respect. But it is time that we actually, it's a pens down for yourself to say, no, now I want to change this now, because I've realized that actually gradually I can steer the ship back into the direction that I wanted to go. Let's not let the ship run away with us. We can start taking control of this ship. So gradually you are now the captain of the ship, or you always have been the captain of the ship. It's just that at some point, maybe being overwhelmed, like you said earlier, or because of lack of knowledge, we may have gotten our hands off the steering wheel. We need to go back and take control of this ship. It is not going to be a quick U-turn.
Yeah.
It is not. But eventually we will take the right turn, the U-turn, and look back, or look the direction where we want to be. It takes discipline. It takes knowledge. It takes having a structure, not doing things in mid-air. It requires processes. We will do it, and we can do it. So even people with one income stream, they cannot be comfortable. As it is now, you can see what's happening worldwide. Petrol went up last week, and we almost had a heart attack, most of us. What does it mean? Food prices are going to go up. Public transport is going to increase. Your salary is remaining the same. What does it mean? What does it mean? Because then if we don't have a plan and we don't have a financial backup, we haven't been saving, we haven't been investing, that means come the end of April and May and going forward, we're going to have a shortfall. Because we are no longer going to be able to afford the things that we were able to afford in February and January and December. So as soon as there's an increase of anything, if I don't have a backup and I don't have financial discipline, guaranteed there's going to be a shortfall. And the shortfall might force me to go and take out a loan, because the numbers are not adding up.
That's a fallback.
Because I don't have a fallback. I don't have a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, where we are in the times that we are in right now, one income stream is no longer enough and it's no longer safe.
Yeah. So for somebody who's listening in and they're resonating with what you're saying here, and they really want to change. So what realistic ways um, can you advise to start doing it? And also thinking that being rich, it's not an overnight thing.
Mhm.
So it will take longer or the longest time to get to a state where you say, look, I have enough to do whatever I want to do. I'm not even talking about being rich. I'm not even talking about being wealthy, but I have enough to do whatever I want to do at this point in time. But that also comes with something that's a big problem, burning out. Because now you're chasing all this so that you can get to a level.
Mm.
So my question to you is, how would you, you know, say to somebody, look, this is where realistically you can start, and having a balance so that you don't have a burnout.
Good question.
Mm,
I'm gonna split it up into two. I'm gonna talk about self, what I need to do as an individual, and maybe look at some tools or
mm,
strategies that we need to apply. As an individual, one, I need financial education. I need to understand what finances are. I need to
yeah.
understand what money is. I need to understand how best to acquire and utilize it and everything in between. I need to have a plan, financial plan. I need to have goals, short, medium, and long-term goals. If you separate them like that, now they make sense. As opposed to me saying, hey, I want to pay off all my debt. What's it? One day I want to be debt free. And then one day I would like to change my car. Hey, this car is old, it's giving me problems. I would love to go on a holiday where Seychelles would be nice. Those are goals, yes. But
Mm,
if I say them like that, I'm likely never to achieve them.
I'm gonna do it. Yeah.
Right? But
Mm,
if I start small and say, I need to put money away because I would love to go on holiday,
mm,
depending on the income band where you sit in, you need to know how much is needed for this dream of yours.
mm,
Let's make an example of paying off your debt. Because like I said, what pains me is the level of indebtedness that we are as a country and as individuals, like I said earlier on. Do we know how much I owe? Not own, owe. How much do I owe? How much is the total? What is the total of all of my debts, big and small? If I have a bond, a home loan, what is the balance? If I have a vehicle finance, car finance, what is the balance? I have an overdraft, I have credit cards or a credit card, I have personal loans or a personal loan, or yeah, Lima Shonisa, that guy from Kai, oh, and
yeah.
Auntie Mary at work, and
Mm,
write your debt down.
mm,
Write your debts down by name, outstanding balance, and how much is needed every month. It may be depressing, but we need to do it. Because if we don't do that, we don't know where we are in the financial space. And that is why the majority of us just carry on with life as if everything is fine, because we don't know the finer detail of our financial standing. So if you write them down by name, balance, outstanding, and the monthly premium, that gives you a picture of where you stand financially. It might shock you because you then realize that actually I'm not going to have a cent left. What
true.
do you do? Then we
Yeah.
can help you, strategize and work around it. So realistically, we need to change our mindset with regards to money. We are no longer at a position to be entertaining and spending willy-nilly, no plan, just at a flash of an idea, I'm off. No, we can't do that anymore. We cannot be Bomoreki any longer. No, we can't. We cannot afford to. But then when I come to the side of tools, there are tools that we need to put into place to help us flip the page and start afresh. Budgeting is one of them. Okay? Draw up a budget. So when we conduct sessions, we actually have a session to talk about the budget. We have a budget template on top. On the screen, on the projected, and we talk about every line item, what it is, how is a budget formed? Because we might think, people think that budgeting is for wealthy people. No. When I go to schools, I can go to a primary school and talk to those kids about budgeting. They get 5 rand every day or 2 rand every day. We talk about that and say, how much change can you take home from this 2 rand? And you give them a task to say, show me at the end of the month how much you can save from this 2 rand that I give you every day. Let it be their task.
You're taking me back to my primary school years. I don't know what happened to me, but I was that kind. I would be given money every single day. I would not spend the whole money. By Friday, I have so much money that I've saved, throughout the days. And that quite worked out, quite nice for me. And I felt very good about it. But when you grow up, things change. Life hits you. You got so many eyes on you, responsibilities, and all that change. Yeah, what you're saying is even a child can be taught that.
It is important. No, it is very important. I wish we had more time to unpack this and we look at how other races look at money. What is their attitude and their approach towards money? Jews teach their children about money from the day they are able to talk. They know about money. At the age of 8, they draw up a budget. At the age of 8, they have an income stream here at home. They have chores that they get remunerated for. It's not to buy them. It is to encourage and teach them that money is earned. You work, then you get money. And once you get the money, then they teach them how best to spend it. Now, at the age of 10, 12, 15, you have no expenses. So you should not have a lot that you spend your money on. So what does this child know? This child knows saving. And later on, this child starts to understand investment. And from time to time, you reward them to say, okay, it's December. You did well at school. I'm happy with your results. What do you want as a gift? I can buy you something, but I will give you the opportunity to buy yourself whatever you like with your own money. What are you saying to this child? You work for the money, you earn it. And from time to time, we can give you an opportunity to spoil yourself. But then come January, back to the drill. We earn, we save, we invest.
And there was one of the questions that I've prepared on how do wealthy families, build and maintain their generational wealth. But I see time is ebbing away. I don't know what happened to it. But it is ebbing away.
I don't know. It's not me. I don't know.
Okay. So let's speak about the young people. What are the most important financial literacy skills young people should focus on right now?
Youth must know that they have the benefit of time. The best gift that they have is time in their favor. And with that, if they are smart, they are financially educated, and they have discipline, and they get to understand the do's and don'ts of finances. They get to know the right tools in terms of saving and investing. Let me tell you, they will be wealthy. Not rich, they will be wealthy. But it has to start now. You cannot be wealthy overnight. You can be rich overnight, but not wealthy. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy, right? You can be rich overnight And chances are you're going to lose it in a very short space of time
True.
because you didn't learn anything, you didn't work for it. That is why we have programs like I Blew It, which is very sad.
Ish.
But if you work towards wealth, it's a journey. It's a journey, and it's a journey for life, but you will be happy. And wealth is not millions. You can be a blue collar worker and be wealthy in your own shoes
Mm.
because you are able to work towards what you know you can afford and what you need. You need to buy yourself a house or build a house back at home while you're staying at a shack here. We see that happen many times. People live a very, very low lifestyle here, blue overalls, one pair of techies, they live in a one-room shack, and they just eat and live very simple. Go back where they're coming from, you're going to be shook, as the kids say.
I want to relate a story on that note. We went to Lesotho. The place, I think it was called Kuting. And I was shocked to see the houses that were built there. You know, when you think of Midrand, Blue Hills, Waterfall, those areas, I was shocked to see those areas there in Lesotho. But now you look at the generation that's there. You have very young people, children, and then old people. But the middle, you are not easily found, in the streets. And you ask, okay, who stays there? They're like, no, they're in South Africa, working in South Africa. But the shocker of my life is that the majority of what I've seen, they were saying that there were houses owned by Zamazama people here in South Africa. So, but you walk across a Zamazama person, they are all dirty. We're
Yes.
not condoning what they're doing,
Yeah.
but their lifestyle here in South Africa, you pass them, you're like, oh, these people are struggling. But you go back home, you'll be shocked for days.
Really shocked.
So I get what you're saying there. So just to quickly speed up our conversation there. How can they now turn their income into a structured progress now instead of just survival? These young ones, young people.
Survival mode is never good. Survival mode is very dangerous because you will do anything just to survive. But if you have a proper structure, you're on a good path. Proper structure again starts with education, starts with knowledge. Proper structure will come with discipline and will come with consistency. Then the structure says, I work off my budget. And with budgeting, no, I wish we had time, but maybe we can do this some other time. With budgeting, there are models that we can use with budgeting. You can use what we call a 70-20-10 split, 70%, 20%, and 10% of your income. You split it up like that. Or you can have a 50-30-20 split, or whichever split you want. But the splits are in a particular order. The top is save and invest. Second is your needs, which is your costs and your day-to-day needs. And the smallest portion should be your wants. And again, financially, if you can master the difference between a need and a want, you're also very safe. Because you cannot see something that you know very well it's not a need, it's a want, but then you want to need it. A want remains a want. A want is something that you can live without. A need is water. A need is clothes. A need is food. A need is a roof over my head. A need can be a car and a cell phone because life dictates like that right now. However, a cell phone being a need, it doesn't mean that every 6 months I must go for the last number. A car being a need, it doesn't mean that I must now go for a Maserati.
Yeah.
I can have my small anyana tatung bag. I will get to where I need to go. And I will do the business that I need to do. With
When I get there,
my No, look, listen. Hey, I park with confidence. It doesn't matter what sfalagatla I drive. Hey, I'm here. I have arrived. I'm here with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm here, So if we can eliminate such things to say, It is not a show off game. Be you, know where you're going, be disciplined, know the tools that are going to get you there. And if you need help, shout for help. We are there, we can coach and assist. One other thing that is critical now in this conversation is that most of us don't actually sit down and look at our finances. So if our listeners today can just print 3 months bank statements, sit down, maybe with your pay slips. Some people don't even understand their pay slip. They don't know what is the difference between a gross income and a net income. They don't understand the value of the deductions, how the deductions impact their lives. When you draw up your goals, short, medium, and long-term goal, what are you working towards? Because you need to understand what is it that you have. If you have a pension at work, how much is it? When can you access your pension? And when we help you structure your finances going forward, we take that into account. So it's all of those tools that if we understood how to put them together, our structure will be solid. And the mindset towards finances, money is a tool that is supposed to help me achieve what I would like to. But because I need knowledge and discipline to maintain it, to manage it rather, if I don't manage it, it is going to run away with me. Budgeting is important because it helps me dictate where my money should go. If not, I'll be chasing after my money and I wouldn't know where it's gone, or it's gone to the wrong places, not where it was supposed to go.
Sis Eunice, wow, what a way to wrap it up. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, but this was a powerful conversation that we had. And thank you so much, for honoring that conversation or that appointment with us. And thank you for sharing your expertise. You know, for breaking things down for us the way that gives people real hope, and for most importantly, real direction, because we do need direction to get to where we can plan our things, be financially free. And to everyone who joined us today, this is your reminder. Your financial situation today does not have to define your future. Progress is built one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one step at a time. So whether it's starting a budget, paying off that first debt that you have, or exploring a new income stream, start somewhere, because the goal is not just to earn, it's to grow, to build, and to create life of a stable and purposeful one. Let's commit from today to turn everything paycheck into your real progress. Thank you so much for joining in. And we having these shows every week, and we inviting you to please join us every week for such a discussion. But you were listening to NMP Talk Show, and the host, Naomara Pedi. Thank you for being here with us, and good night.